Right, in this video, let's continue our CRUD operation. Here in this video, we are going to include our Admin LTE backend dashboard. You can see this is Admin LTE dashboard, and you can navigate through the links. This is view all products which we have already added, and now this is the product which you are about to create. Now, along with the Admin LTE, you can see there is the edit button. You can change the data which you have already saved, and you can also change the image if you which you already saved. Let me start from scratch. Now we are about to create a new product. Let's name it as the Indian dish samosa, and it's going to be cheese samosa, and it's 150 rupees, and the category is vegetarian. And you can choose the file. I'll leave the source code in the description in case if you got stuck. Just copy paste and start along with me. Now if you click on save, you should see success message, and it's been redirected to the index. A success message, and our samosa is here. And if you wish to change this, just click on this edit button again, and you can name it as A1, and again click on update. And I think there would be an error because we have to fill this as well. Now it's A1 samosa, it's 50 rupees, and in case if you want to edit the image, you can change the image as well. Let's place this image, the dark one, and again I have missed the category. So you can see A1 samosa, it's 150 rupees, and we have changed the image to the dark one. Cool. So now we are able to view, and we are able to create, and we are able to update. So here CRUD, except the delete, we have focused on the 4 new attributes, and along with that we are going to see how to create controller. We are going to see how to create model, and how to create request and rules, and how to link the storage folder with our public folder. Now for the CRUD operation we need 2 things. The first one is database connection, and the second one is the URL pages. So the database connection can be done with the help of model, and creating the pages and linking the pages can be done through controller, and the validation part is the request. So if I click on create, and if I click on save, you will see the validation. So these are these fields are mandatory, that's what it is saying. So this is what the request and rules does. Fine, now let's start with our installation. No, installation is going to take some time. Let's just use our command, and I'm going to name it as just the samosa. So we are going to give command to the composer. Let me just get into the Laravel projects. So I am now inside C, XAMPP, htdocs and Laravel projects, and I'm going to paste it. I'm telling the composer saying that create a project and download the Laravel package and name it as samosa, and this is the versions of Laravel that need to be downloaded. At present the Laravel version is 10, but I'm sticking to 8.6, which is the stable version. And now you can see it's currently going to install in my system by downloading it. Now in the Laravel projects you will see a new folder called samosa, which is what created right now. You can see the time as well. Let's wait till it get downloaded. By the time you will see there is another functionality called login and logout, which we will be adding this into the tutorial as well. Let me just show you once it get downloaded. It will take some 2 to 3 minutes to download, and it is installed. Now let's just get into the folder which we have created, and now we need to install the UI package, which will install all our bootstrap and related front-end part. And after that we need to install the authentication package, as I have shown you, which will be responsible for creating and registering new user. And finally this code is for creating the authentication. Now once all this done, you need to type one more command, npm install and npm run dev, and everything is installed properly. Now you just have to type php serve to make the server run. php, I think for some reason it's not allowing you to type php artisan serve. Now it will show you the IP address along with the port so that you can run your project smoothly. Now by the type, so this is the port, colon 800 is the port, and this is the IP address of localhost. Now you can see the login and the register is also created because of the package which we have installed earlier. Now we need to create a new database, and I'm going to name it as Samosa and click on create. Let me close these, which is not useful. So your database is created. Now close the server and type code and dot. This will load your Samosa project into your Laravel, sorry, into your Visual Studio Code, which is what it is doing right now. So let me close the earlier one. Now since we have created a database, we want to make sure your Laravel and your database is connected properly. In that case, you have to get into the env file, and the database name, just the database which you have created just now is, and that's it. Now let us create the database. So here you will see in the database, in the migration, there are already 4 tables. We need to create one more. Let me create it. So here we would create the model which you will name as Samosa along with migration. Now your model will be created. Now you will see a new file which is Samosa table is created. Now here you need to add the columns. As of now we have the ID and the timestamps already created. Now let's add some more columns to your table. So the name, description, price, category, and image. So these are the data type that need to be stored in the database. Name is a string, description is a text, the price is an integer, and category is a string, image is a string again. Now if this is done, you just need to type. As of now, let me just show you, your database is blank. Once I type this code, which is I think migration is successful, php artisan migrate. So there would be some part of migration. So once the migration is complete, you will see the database that is populated with the tables also which we have created right now, which is samosas. Just checking whether I have given the name. It's samosa, but it is plural. You can see it has come as a plural, so that's not the issue. And the table has the column which we have created, and the timestamp created 2 more columns which is created at and updated at, so that's not the issue. Cool, your database is ready as of now. Now we don't have to worry about the database. Now it's time for the admin LTE. Now if you see, if I open the admin LTE folder, I have already removed the unused JS, CSS and all the data. We just need the samosa to be here, and view and create, and here we will have form and we will have tables. Now for that, the pages that we need 2 pages, view and create. Sorry for that. In that case, we need to create a folder here inside view and call it as samosa, and inside the samosa we need 2 more files, which is index.blade.php and the other one is create.blade.php. Cool. Now in the, so these 2 files, when there's a call for the home page, this page loads up. This page comes from this welcome.blade.php. So the same way, the header and footer is coming from the layouts app. Inside the layout we have an app. So here we need to link our CSS and JS. So before that, let me just paste our assets of the admin LTE. So here you will find this in the source code. You'll find this in the description box as a Google Drive link. Now we need to copy this. This has only the dist folder of CSS and JS, and the plugins, which is nothing but Bootstrap, jQuery, and so on. Now copy this asset and get into your Laravel projects, which is Samosa, and inside that we have a public, and paste it. So once this is pasted, you need to link these files, the header and footer. You can see. Let me just open the index.html as well in the Visual Studio Code. So these are the CSS files. Let me just copy these and paste it in the have.html. Now to link this properly, you need to use this asset and the template symbols. And the same way for the footers, we will have some JS. Copy these just above our body. We can paste the asset syntax. You can see it's a plural, which is asset, and our folder is assets. Now your CSS and JS will be loaded. Just to check, refresh this. Make sure your server is running. PHP artisan serve. Control U, and I think home may have. Control U again. Yeah, you can see if I click on this assets, all the CSS and all the JS will be loaded properly. So our CSS and JS are linked. Now it's time to create the sidebar. So just outside the layout, we can create another file called sidebar.blade.php. So here you can have your sidebar. So in the HTML you will see this is the sidebar. You can paste it into a separate file. So that's what we are doing. Just copy this and paste it. And now after the sidebar, we have the content, which we can have in the create. So we'll take a duplicate of this home into our create and into our index, and this part will be replaced in the app.blade.php as this one. So you can see this content and this content. So whatever you write here, that will be replaced in the app.blade.php in this version. So it's better to remove all and include a sidebar @ include sidebar. You don't have to mention sidebar.blade.php, it would work inside the content, and rest is not needed. So the page is created, but we need a route. So to create route, we need to create controller. So it's better to copy paste. So PHP artisan samosa controller along with the resource. R stand for resources. So what are the resources? It would be the files, it would be the function. Now in the HTTP app HTTP controller, you'll see samosa controller. Samosa controller has index, create, store, show, edit and update function, which we will be using in the web.php. The web.php can be found in the routes.php. sorry, routes folder. Now when there's a call for samosa slash create, just call the controller, which is samosa controller over here, and now we have to import the controller over here. Don't forget to add use. Cool. So when there's a call for this URL, the create function will take care of this. This is the function name and this is the URL. When there's a call for the URL, the function create will take care of it, and you can name it as samosa.create. The same way, when there's a call for samosa.index, the index function will take care of it, and you can give the route name as index. And now you can literally search type, start typing here just by samosa slash create. Right now it should throw an error. As of now, server is not running. You can make the server work by PHP artisan serve. Now what we can do is, since create function is taking care of it, you can return some values over here. Return form here. Here you will find form, and in the index you will find table list of samosa, list of samosas. Now again, if I search for create, you will see semicolon is missing. Here you will find form, and here you will find list of all samosas. Now not only that, you can return the whole HTML file. Here in this case it's samosa dot create, and this samosa dot create is referring to the resource folder, resource views, and you can see samosa. Here we have created index. So the same way, this view will say index, and I believe we have just the sidebar linked on the index as well as for create. Actually create does not have a sidebar. Let me just create it. Oh, it's not saved yet. Refresh it, and this is create. Cool. Now we need to place the content over here. So before that, what we can do is, you can make use of this route new samosa.create and samosa.index in our sidebar. So here you will find href, and inside the href use the Laravel literal, and you can use the route function, and you can use that name, which is samosa.create for its view, so index. So don't confuse this. This is the route name which we have created at web.php. So once you save this, now refresh this page, and you'll able to navigate to view. Just notice the URL bar, it changes to create and view. So just by referring to the route name, you can navigate through the different pages. So once that is done, it's time to include our table. So call the wrapper and place it after the sidebar. The same way, we don't need app.html as of now. On the index after the sidebar, just face it. Now if I refresh, you will see some content. Again, if you click on create, you will see the same content. So these content need to be replaced. So our database is ready and our pages are also ready. Now it's time to create the form and insert the values of the form into the database and show this value into the view page. So the first step is create the form. So in the create, here we need to paste the form. So this is our 18th episode. I have already created the form earlier. I'm just going to copy paste it and explain it line by line. And now I'm just pasting it. Cool. Let me just refresh this and show you. I believe, yeah, The first one is the input field. So it has an input field, and the name is very important. We just need to focus on the name. The input field name of the samosa has the name as attribute. So the second one is description about the samosa. Again, the name attribute is description. And the third one is price. So you can see the price of the samosa, and again the name attribute is price. Then we have category. The name attribute is category, and then we have the image that would be uploaded, and here it is the name of the image. Cool, everything set straight. Now it's time to add the validation, sorry for that. Whenever I click on the save button, the data would go to this attribute. So this attribute. So as a, just to give you a hint, the encrypt type is needed because we are using form. Along with that, the action. Let me create the URL. So to create the URL, we again need the web.php. So here we are going to use store function, and the method is going to be post, and in the store function we'll just display the value which we have received right now through the request. So whatever the input field we have filled, we can access this with the help of this request variable. Don't forget the colon or else semicolon, or else it would give you an error. So if I click on save, you will see force is not supported. It is saying something. The force method is not supported for this route. Supported methods are getting. I'm sorry for that. This is the post. We'll create it later on while updating. Now this is post, so actually I got a little confused. So it should be there because it is responsible for showing your form, and this is responsible for updating your form, sorry, storing the form. Let me find, do we have any other relevant function? Yeah, store is there. Store, let me just type it and click on save it and click on post. So it is moving to create. We should here you will find, yeah, we have not defined the route, that's the reason. Route, and the name of the route is samosa dot, which is store. You can see the method is post. Now let's try again. The data is null, and since we have used dd function, you will see these are the values which is null. Now we need to add the validation. If we save this without sending the data, it should throw an error. In that case, you need to create the validation. So to create the validation, you again need to create this samosa create command. So you are telling composer that create a request from folder. You will see the folder there. You won't find a folder in the HTTP. So in the app there is no folder called request, but you will find it once I create this. Just click enter and it is saved. Now you will see a folder called a request inside the HTTP. Yeah, it's there. So inside the request you will find the samosa request. So you are saying it should be true. Yes, I am going to validate it. And what are the things that need to be validated? In that case, the data that need to be validated can be pasted over here. Let me just paste this to save our time. So the attribute that we have is 1, 2, 3 description, price, and the category. All of them are required. you can see the description is string, sorry, the name is string and the description is string. The price need to be number, so numeric, numeric. So you can have the max value as 5000 for the price, and the category is string again, and these are the allowed values for the file png, jpeg and jpeg. Cool. Once this is created, so this validation you will get it in the controller. Don't forget to copy the class in the controller, in the store method. Sorry, what we're doing, yeah, in the store method. So this is a request which is responsible for having all the data of input field. So here we have to paste it. So we are creating an object. Now we need to call that, or else it won't work. So let me find a suitable way to call. Yeah, we can use this. Next time we'll use extension, so it would automatically create it. And inside the app http request, then we have our class which is samosa request. So with this steps, once you create the save button, if there is no error, I think the server is not running yet, php partition, if there is no error, you will see the validation error. Actually error is not popping up. It's because in the create.blade.php we need to call the error. If there is error, then display those errors. That's what we need to show here. So if there is error, then show the errors. So let's save again. If there is error, show the error. I'm not placing it inside with alert hyphen danger. Just paste it. Now refresh it, click on save. You will find the list of errors. Name is empty, description is empty, price is empty. Let me type some name and click on save. You will see the name is gone, but rest of the thing is there. So the validation is also working fine. Now the next part is, once we click on the save, we want to store these values into the database. So to store the data, we need to this URL is taking care of what function, this one. Now here we need to call the model. With the help of the model, we would be able to store the data. So we need to call the model first inside the app. I think model is somewhere. So it's not inside map, it's directly outside models. So the name of the model is samosa. So inside the model you'll find the capital S of samosas. Now you can use this in the store. Where is the store? Yeah, it's here. Colon create. It's an array. Now we need to pass the input field value over here. So it's very straightforward. So here you would find the database table column, name, description, price, category and image, and these are the name of the input field: request, description, request, price, request, and so on. So here you will find the path. Now whenever I upload an image, it will be uploaded in the storage. So you will find the folder called storage. Inside the storage you have the app, inside the app you have public, and here you will be creating a file. You will be creating a folder inside the public that would hold all your uploaded file. So let me just create it. So request as image, so this is the name attribute of the input field. and you're using the special function called store, and inside the store we will create a public function. Where is the store? Inside the store we will create a public folder. It's already created, and inside the public we'll find samosa. So once everything is done, we need to return redirect, and we are redirecting to a route called store index page, and with the message saying that it is stored successfully. So in the index.html, if the data got saved, let me just index.blade.php, let me find index.blade.php, it's over here, and here we need to create a message, the success message. If there is if the message is, if it is stored properly, you will get this message. So to display the message here, it says if the session has a message, then show the message in the alert. So let me just try it by creating a1 samosa, copy this, and 150, change the value, upload the image, select this, click on save. If there is no error, okay, it says now we are making a mass assignment with the help of controller mass assignment. So we need to get into the model, and we need to mention that nothing is guarded, and we are saying if is anything guarded. No, it is nothing is guarded, so that's what it is meant. Cool, everything is set. Click on save again, and stored successfully. So let me just check. Yeah, all the data we got. Now if you see in our storage folder, a samosa folder has been created, and inside the samosa folder we have 2 images, and that's fine. Now once this is done, in the public folder you will see there is only 3 folder. Now we need to create a command, php artisan storage : link. Once you link this, you will see the storage folder would be also available for the public HTML, so we can access it from the index.blade.php. Now I hope this is clear. The same storage folder is also available on public folder. Cool, that is done. Now let's just focus on the table. Now here we will be creating a table. Now this code is nothing but if there is no data is there, we would be showing no data to show. So if there is some values, now in order to get the value we have to get into the controller. So http controller, samosa controller. So in the index we need to make use of our model and get all the data and store it into a variable called samosas, and send this value with the help of compact function, and use this value in the index. So this is samosas. So now we get this. So now we can access the column name using name, description, and so on. So now we have used key. It is just to show the index number. So index starts from 0. You can see it's 1, but here the index will start from 0. So that's the reason I have used key. You'll find this code in the description, not to worry. Now the same way to access the image, I have used the function storage : URL. And if I refresh this, I'm sure I have not created this route. Let me just remove this and refresh again. Your server is not running. There's some problem with the index. Actually it's the case sensitive error. It's samosas, capital S. Now we have only one image, so that's fine. We don't need the delete as of now because we are not focusing on delete. Now when I click on the edit, nothing is showing up, so let me just create a route for that as well. Now to create this route, you need to get into web.php, and this is the edit part, store.edit. So we will be passing the ID as well, and in the edit function just show the ID, dd $id. So this ID you can get it from this parameter. Make sure to add semicolon. And since we have in the web.php we have given the name, we can use that in our href blade route, the route name, and again you'll see we need to pass the ID. So in the web.php you can see there is ID, we need to pass to the URL. So to pass the URL, to pass the ID in the URL, we can get this, we can make use of this, and there is an table column name called ID. You see this ID, so we are passing this ID. Now if I refresh this, if there is no error, if I hover it, you can see at the bottom here samosa /1. If you click on edit, you will just see the get is not supported. Where is samosa? In the web.php, actually it's just get, not post. Click again, you can see the dd works fine, data dump works fine, dd. Cool. Now what we need to do is we need to create another file, and it would be edit.blade.php. Just copy this file, Control N, Control V, Control S, and it's going to be edit.blade.php. Cool. So in the controller we are just going to return a view of edit.blade, sorry, just edit. Actually it's inside samosa, I guess. Let me just check. Samosa.edit. So let me just, so you can see the edit function is returning the file which is already there on create.blade.php. So edit.blade.php. Now for this also we need to create the, if I click on save, we need to create these values, sorry, the errors. So before that I have clicked on 1, right? So the data of 1 should be displayed on this edit form. You can see these data should get displayed on this edit form. So we need to make use of controller, sorry, the model in the edit. So the model is, we'll use samosa colon get, or you can use find, pass this ID and store it into a variable, samosa single, and send this as compact with the help of compact function. Now we can use this value in the edit.blade.php, and wherever there is placeholder you can have value and use the blade symbol, dollar, and use the attribute name. If you refresh, you see the value of what name shows up here. The same way for the description, refresh it. I think it's the blade symbol that we have to paste. And then we have the value for the, make sure it's text or else it won't work. You can replace the placeholder with our value, and it's just fric, and then we can leave this as of now because this need the JavaScript to work. Now fine, here let this be as it is, but here in the image let the width of the image be 100, and we'll make use of, we need to show the image, so we have already used the code for showing the image over here, so we can make use of this in the edit.blade.php just below here. Don't change the reference variable or else it won't work. The reference variable is same, so that's not the issue. Now if I refresh, you'll find all the data except the category because it needs the work of JavaScript. I'll leave as it is. So let me add one more thing, one more. We'll name it as UI Monk Samosa, and we'll name it as 150 and non-veg. The second one, click on save. So stored successfully. Now if I want to edit this UI Monk Samosa, click on this edit. Let's take this UI Monk, let's name it as Samosa UI Monk. Click on save. So now it won't work. Image field is empty, so we need to create different request for this. So Control C to stop the server. Now here the first one was create request, now this is update request. So let's create this update request. Now again a new file will be created into the request folder. Let me just copy the same thing which is available here. Copy this and paste it. Make sure this is true. Now here the image is not required, and to avoid this we can remove this as well, but we'll keep as it is. Now as I said, to use this we need to get into the controller and call this controller in the head section, and where the request is for the edit we need to one more thing, in the action attribute, let me just take this closer. In the action attribute you see it's store. Now in this case we need update, and the method is going to be put, and let's use this route in our controller, sorry, in the web.php. So let's just replicate the post. So it's going to be foot, and this is the function, this is the URL, the function that is going to handle, and the name of the attribute. Okay, in the same way we need to pass the ID also, on which column we need to update. So to update single column we need to make sure we have ID. So it is simple, as we have done for the anchor tag on the index.blade.php. Just call this and paste it into our action attribute. The reason for copy pasting is we should paste this inside as single quotes, and here two single quotes. Here you can make this update. And now we are targeting the update function. So here we have update function, and use the update attribute. So once everything is done, we should get the error from the update. This is 2, server is not running. Click on, since this is update file, instead of save you can make this update. Click on refresh. If you click on save, so these validation are coming from the request which you have created. Cool, this is fine. Now if I make this vegetarian, so if I click on update, all the data will be sent to this function, and you can just trace dd and dump all the request. Semicolon, click on update, all the data you got it, you can see the method is put. Now here what we need to do is, since we get the ID, we need to call the model, which is in this case samosa, and we need to use a function. So I believe find would work. Pass the ID. Now you will get the reference, store it, now I have used the function called, now we don't need this, so I'm going to find a specific row with the help of the ID, and I got it into this reference. Now I'm using this function to fill with the value which I have got from the input field. So just to be clear, so this has the individual row. If suppose the individual row is 1, let's say the reference to the 1 is over here. Now we need to update either of the value, so in that case I'll use the fill function to update from the request. So the name, description, price, category and path. Again there are two scenarios. The image is updated, and the second one is, let me just click refresh, the image is updated, the second one is image is not updated. In that case we need to check. So the request has image, in this case it's samosa. If the request has image, if I click on update, it's blank as of now. I have not, you see this is blank. If I click on update, we made a mistake. We just need to make, you just need to comment this and show this one. Click update, actually it's not get, just select anything, click on save. You can see except image everything is there, except image everything is there, because image is blank. Now if the request has, if the image is not changed, so in the request there won't be image. So if the request has no image, then just get the previous image and store it. If the request has image, then use the same thing which we have already done to store the image, and store it into public. It's not pizza, it's samosa now. Cool. And once everything is done, we need to redirect as we have already done earlier. In this case it's updated successfully. Let's try. We'll make this samosa 28 and click on update. Samosa 28 is updated successfully. And let's just change the image of the first one. Click on edit. It's triple. Now let's just change this to dark one and click on update. It's empty, and let's just make this dark as I already said. And there should be 2 rows, and in those 2 rows the first one image should get changed to the dark one which we have created right now. Let's just see. As said, it's updated successfully and you can see the image. Fine, I hope the scope of this video is done. Let's meet at the next tutorial.